All right. Halo, how you doing, my friend?
Excellent, excellent, man. Just beautiful day. We finally got some sun out here in AZ. It's been cold. Now it's just perfect. So good day.
Wicked. And where are you located?
I'm in like Havasu, like northern Arizona. We're about 2 hours outside of Vegas.
Oh, nice, nice. I am in Slovakia, and what time is it now? It's 8 o'clock. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cold, pretty cold. Even during the day, it's
Oh,
still
yeah,
cold.
yeah, 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 yeah. Hey,
So yeah, I'm
how long are
happy.
you gonna be out there?
Sorry?
How long are you gonna be out there?
I'm gonna be here until Sunday, and then I'll be returning to UK.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, it's cool. It's all right here. It's all right.
Yeah,
Less busy than UK, but I think that's one of the things I like about it, UK can be very, hustle and bustle, as people say,
yeah.
lots of business and hardly any time to sleep in some cases. So it's good to relax.
Okay, okay. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Good change. Good change.
So, Halo, I met you in Vegas at the expo, at the Olympia
Miss
Expo.
Olympia. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was great,
man.
man.
It was
Great
it
show.
was amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It was
Gosh.
huge, huge.
Mm,
Just yeah.
mm.
Wait, it was a lot more than what I expected. I expected it to be big, but it was just yeah, it was very unique for an expo.
Yeah, yeah. Have you been to any other expos before?
Yeah, but I mean, before COVID hit, I did like 81 flights that year doing expos and conventions, and
Wow.
so, but most of them they're like that, but just not as much for the displays. Like the displays that were there and stuff was like gigantic, 2 story sometimes. Just and usually the expos are just the same 10 by 10, and that's pretty much it. And everyone's kind of got their own little thing. So this
Hmm.
was this was like a carnival mixed with an expo. It was a lot of fun. It was
Right. Yeah, yeah. Did you see the actual Olympia competition itself? Did you see
I
anyone on the
saw
stage?
I saw snippets.
All right,
I saw
right.
snippets. Brother, that's the other thing. We came very underprepared for that event, without
Hmm.
getting too much. But so at the last moment, they asked us to move, and I was like, I've only done a little bit of promoting for our spot, but I'll be cordial. And because I did that, they ended up giving me an extra space for free. So at
Amazing.
the last minute, we had this bigger space, and there was only two of us. So I had to track down another person, and so we had probably like 10 minutes of downtime the entire 2 days that we were at the event. So I didn't really get time to get away to really see much. I think actually when I came in and talked to you at the booth that you were at, that was
Hmm.
like really the only time I ever left our booth.
Right, right, right. I'm
So
sure there'll
otherwise I was
be
just seeing videos.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be other years, when you start to expand and probably have a few more people at your stand. Hopefully, you'll get the
Definitely.
opportunity to walk around and,
Yeah.
just enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I found out like four of the people I knew were there the whole time. And I didn't even know until after the fact when they're posting the videos and stuff. I was like, you guys were 2 rows over from us. I didn't even okay, well, okay. So yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was a great experience, man. I really enjoyed it. It was
That's
cool.
cool. So your company, is it called Mystech?
Yeah,
Mystech?
Mystech.
Yeah,
Mystech.
Mystech.
Yeah.
I was really amazed when I came up to your stand and you created this demonstration of showing how a person can uh, increase the grounding in their body or something. I wouldn't even know how to explain it, but you were able to test my strength, or maybe it was your colleague, able to test my strength. And after putting the band on, this this sort of is it resonance band? I
Yep.
can't remember
Yep.
what it's called.
Yep.
Um,
Presence.
my my strength just increased, and I couldn't understand it, but all I know is I wanted it in my life. It was really cool. I saw lots of people queuing up to do the same sort of thing, and I was just fascinated because it just looked like a very simple band that you put on your wrist or just hold in your hand, and
Yep.
somehow it seemed like it just changed the structure in your body. All of a sudden, you just became stronger. Um, so I want us to get to that. But first of all, like, what is Mystech all about? How did you come up with the name Mystech? What is it?
So the name is really just mysticism and technology, and our company's being the bridge because most spiritual, mystic, any of those things are really just kind of old technologies that we've kind of twisted into this other non thing. But a lot of it's very tangible. If we took our cell phones back to the 1400s right now, it'd be magic, but it's just technology,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So initially, what we focused everything on frequencies with our products, right? And so originally we were sticking with just the Earth frequency, and that's great, and that's the most scientific backing thing that we have. But throughout old script and old text and all these things, there's other frequencies that they say they use, like the King's Chamber in Egypt as an example.
Hmm.
They had a very specific frequency that apparently had these healing effects. Now, we don't have the technology now to measure all those things in the way that they did then. But with what our machine can do, I was like, hey, can we just try one of these non-scientific ones that they say did this from this other world? And next thing you know, we actually saw like very profound results in
Hmm.
aligned with what that was saying. So when we were first showing people, and when I became a part of the old company, I actually bought them out and rebranded and renamed everything, because people were like, "Yo, this is like magic or something." Like, well, it's just science, but yeah, you can say that. And I was like, Mystech, yes. And
Right.
I'm very symbolic and word and phonetically driven about a lot of things. And so even our logo is based off like Metatron's cube. It's a type of sacred geometry. And just all these
Hmm.
things have just all lined up like very effortlessly. And it felt like very alignment. And I'm like, okay, well, this is it. And yeah, I bought it out from
Amazing.
my partners, and it's been my company since 2015.
Oh,
And it
wow.
was something
Okay.
like it got introduced to me kind of accidentally. And when I knew how the technology worked, they were freaked out, and they brought me on board. And then very shortly after, they made me a partner because we were able to make the technology just work a lot better. And then it was just money for them, and I really want to change the world. I don't really care about the money part. So I was like, well, here, I'll just
Mhm.
buy it out from you guys, and here you go. And now here we are, and we're making all sorts of crazy, very powerful, impacting, helpful products, just depending on what people are looking for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is pretty amazing. So how does it work exactly? It's so you're able to transfer frequencies in these in your jewelry, in your bands. Like, how does the whole thing work? It does seem very mystical and woo-woo. It just seems like it doesn't make sense, but I've seen it work, I've seen it in action. But how
Right.
does it work exactly?
Right, right, yeah, yeah. No, great question, great question. So, the we have to cover just a couple little small things to make sure the mind's all lined up to be very cohesive. So
Yes,
think of it as
yes.
similar to like a magnet, right? Now, if you put a magnet against something biological, it's not going to have that catalytic pull and draw and stick to it. But if you put it on metal, that's going to happen, right? It needs something to react.
Yeah.
So think of our bands as like something similar to a magnet, but for biological things, right? So in the same way, once you get a magnet within about an inch, that field is already there. It makes it happen. With our
Hmm.
technology, similar is about an inch or so field that comes out for it. So it doesn't even technically have to be touching you. If it's within an inch of your body, the field acts like a tuning fork for all the things in your body that resonate with the frequency that it's imprinted to. So as
Right.
example, the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's natural frequency, there's a whole documentary I suggest anyone that wants to get deep into this. It's called Resonance Beings of Frequency. It's on our website, mystech.net. Hit science, and the video at the bottom is mind blowing to see.
Okay.
Uh, but, but
Mystic.net, yeah.
yep, .net.
Yep. Okay,
And
cool.
so this frequency essentially comes from lightning strikes from the beginning of the Earth being here, and it's charged this whole planet that we're on to 7.83 hertz, way before we had electronics and all the technology. Millions of years that it's been here. So all life has developed, not just humans, bees, plants, everything at this frequency, right?
How do
And
we
so if
know
you've watched the
this?
video, they've tested it. Go watch that video, and they break down
Okay.
everything, all the scientists, everyone that's gone through all of it. There's another book, I actually grabbed it so I could kind of show it really quick. It's
Hmm.
called The Invisible Rainbow,
Hmm. And who's that
right?
by? Arthur
Arthur Fistenberg.
Furstenberg. Okay.
Yeah, so I know it shows it backwards. But so in this book, they go through and document the history of electricity from when it very first came on board, and studies that they don't do anymore. And as you go through this book, you find out like a good 80 to 90% of the ailments that we have right now all come from electronics making it far, far worse, if not creating it in the first place. Right.
Right.
If we go back in history before electronics, I would love for someone to tell me, because I've asked this question a lot of times. We've never heard of any like old kings or queens or dukes or anyone dying of cancer.
True. How long has that
You
been
know,
about? How long has cancer been about, would you say?
well, again, in the book, it goes through and goes over the dates and the research and
Hmm.
the studies and all the stuff, and it's really mind blowing to see this and to see that the resonance beings of frequency video. I mean, you see those two things, and you'll be as passionate about what I do as I am, because it's a way
Yeah.
bigger problem than people realize.
Mm.
I do also suggest that if you are going to watch the video, start off in a very good mood, because by the time you're done with
Right.
it, it really will put you in an awkward space when you just are given all this information that you can then go and research. And that video came out in 2012. And so, as bad as it was then, you know how fast our technology's jumped in the last 10 years. It's compounded way beyond what you see in this video. And so that's why this technology is so important. Um, and so, yeah, so the Schumann resonance, that frequency, right, very specific, that's what your body wants to be at, right? And so not everyone is old enough to remember this, but we are. When cell phones first came out and you'd be listening to like your favorite song on the radio and you get a cell phone call, what would happen? The song would get all like staticky, right?
Yes.
And that would
Yes.
just be from a strong electromagnetic field coming in through your cell phone that was messing up the normal radio signal. You can still make the song out mostly, but it sounded like crap,
Hmm.
right? Okay, now when you hang the phone up, the song goes back to being crystal clear. The interference is gone. So every person, and I don't care if anyone, and I mean this in the most respectful way, but you have one of those shields or those blockers in that, none of that stuff means anything. If you stay far away from it, don't keep cell phones on yourself, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. All electronics within about a 5,000-foot field can penetrate most materials, unless they're using like a certain type of paint or anything. So every electronic within 5,000 feet of where you are is pulling your protons in a different direction at a molecular quantum level, right? So imagine a pain signal. The fastest way to get somewhere is in a straight line, right? So when you stub your toe, that's an electric signal that goes up to your brain and back very quickly to say, oh, this is hurt, be careful, right?
Hmm.
Well, if we take that straight line and we distort it, now that same signal, even though it's still very fast in the human body, it's electricity, it's now going through a longer pathway in a more spread out spot. So your pain actually feels like it's in a wider spot than it actually is. And because of the distortion, the pain seems to stay there a little bit longer and seems to be a little bit worse. So
Right.
we're not healing anything in the body with this technology. Your body just wants to be at that frequency. So when this comes within the field, it takes every proton in your body and immediately goes, oh, that's where we want to be. And it straightens everything out, and that diffuses all the extra like electric payload that's in the body. It gets rid of all the distortion. So because of
Wow.
that, your body just is faster, it's stronger, it's more stable, it heals better. It's not from what our technology is doing, it's from what the body can already do if it was at its natural state,
Hmm.
because most of us have grown up in this very electric polluted environment. We don't know what normal really feels like. We really don't. That's why when
Yeah.
people go camping and hiking, they feel better. It's not the fresh air at all. It's getting away from all the electric payload. Your body naturally disperses all that. You start feeling better. That's
Mm.
it. Like all the tests that you were talking about that we do with the bands. I've been saying this for years. I'll tell people like next time you're off the grid, not even with yourself when you're on a hike or something, stand barefoot on the ground for 5 minutes and try every test that we showed you without the bracelet. It'll work every single time, because your body will
Right.
naturally go back to that state. And then as soon as you drive into town and see a power line, pull over, try it again, you'll fall all over the place. It's crazy.
Wow. So you said the Earth is at 700 and what?
That's 7.83 hertz. That's its natural resonant frequency. That's what the normal wave is, right? And there's tons of tests that they did, like putting people underground in bunkers where they
Mhm.
didn't have access to that frequency, and they would start getting sick and dementia and get weirded out because they were cut off from that. They say that also, like some of the first astronauts, when they were going to space, once they got out so far away from the ionosphere, they didn't have the frequency. So they had to create like a generator to duplicate that so they wouldn't start going crazy. Like the body really, really needs that frequency.
And this is the Earth at its natural state. Does that mean
Right.
that it's not that state at the moment? Like,
Yeah, there's websites. I don't track it because I'm so focused on this, and a lot of it is misinformation purposely.
mhm.
Like there's a whole thing out there. Like, and I'm not saying that humans have not evolved and we're not at some ascended state. Outside from what I do with Mystech, I'm a fairly spiritual person and believe that we are definitely in this higher space. But a lot of people feel, because we're so connected with the human resonance, that when you see spikes in it, it's because humans are naturally evolving and we're ascending and we're affecting it, which is not true at all.
Right,
Not true at all.
right.
Well, we do have that correlation. Like it'd be like putting gas in the car and then saying that affected the oil level. Like there's a relation, but it's not the You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it's really because we have more Wi-Fi and 5G and things like Starlink, and we have more electronic devices than we've ever had. And that's a continuing growing thing that's happening. And a lot of times on like, certain astronomical events where there's like a comet or a meteor shower, people are like, look, you see the Schumann resonance spike? It's because the cosmos is, and it's no, it's because everyone's getting their phones out and they're online and they're taking more pictures, more videos, and doing like, there's very specific things about our electronic use that's really messing the planet up. And so these
Right.
higher frequencies at some point, as we're becoming more transhuman than human, whether we volunteer for it or not, maybe there will be a different frequency that will be better for whatever this thing that they're trying to turn everyone. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but maybe at
Mhm.
some point it won't be the one. But as far as I know, the natural normal frequency is the 7.83 hertz, and that's what we want to really stay at for
Mhm.
our molecular system. That being said, oh, go ahead. Go ahead. If you have a question, please.
I was going to say, so your bands and the jewelry which you put the frequency in, they are all at the 7.83.
Probably 75% of them,
Okay.
because that's for the human body and for the electric system, right? In the same way that this is a fun part of my conversation. So in science, we admit that there's like a skeletal system, muscular system, endocrine system. Now they say there's a cannabinoid system, but they
Mhm.
forget that we're also electric beings and we have energy systems and emotional systems, and the body's a multidimensional being, right?
Mhm.
So the 7.83 hertz is a very specific part of the physical body, right? There's not a spiritual thing in any way, shape, or form. It's a physical thing, like water hydrates the body, right? That being said, we do have energy points in the body. Spiritually, they call them chakra points, but there's science that's been measured, and you can actually see things. Those spots in the body actually line up with the musical scale of something called the solfeggio frequencies. So they call it divine math in spiritual practices. So like the throat is 741 hertz, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
so you talking a lot, right, and creating content and everything, it'd be highly beneficial for you to just listen to 740 hertz, 741 hertz in the background, and you'd actually be very surprised that your voice would just feel strengthened and empowered because it will find resonance with that exact frequency. It's not going to affect anything else in the body, but
Mhm.
that will actually have something that happens. So we do have bracelets as well that are lined up for that specifically. And so like me, I wear about 21 different frequencies,
Holy
and
smokes.
I usually sleep like an hour or two, maybe. You don't really need sleep. You just need rest. And if you do that the right way, you don't have to sleep like everyone else does and waste a lot of time.
So
Um,
wait, right there. You don't need sleep.
no,
Lots
it's
of
not real.
scientists, doctors, physicians, like medical experts say that we need sleep and we need at
Okay.
least between 7 to 8 hours of sleep
Sure, sure, sure.
a night.
So I'm,
So,
I'm I'm with all that, but what I'll say is what they're saying is incorrect and diverts power that we would normally have in time that we would normally have. It's not that it's not correct, it's just not the full version of what they're saying. So I'm not saying that we don't need rest, right? And most people rest on accident while they're sleeping. That's why people can sleep for 8 hours, get no rest, wake up, feel exhausted because they didn't rest. That's not healthy, right?
mhm.
However, and again, there's a place you can go online and check it out. But if you can go into a deep meditative state, like truly a deep meditative state for 30 minutes, that's equivalent to 4 hours of sleep. Like they've done scientific studies on that. So I meditate usually 2, 3 times a day. I've got a couple of clients that we sit and do meditations with and so on. And that's when I get the rest that I need. Otherwise, I lay down with my wife till she falls asleep. I sneak out of bed. I come back into my office, my lab, work on creating stuff, and that's it. But if I sleep 8 hours a day at the end of the week, that's 2 days gone every week. And our time is the only thing we can get back. And that freaks me out. And I've got a lot to do. So I've been doing it for 20 years now, as long as I've been with my wife. And she thought I was trying to be cute. And I was like, yeah, so I don't sleep unless you cuddle with me. And she's like, yeah, good try. And 7 in the morning, I'm still up watching TV, reading. Yeah, you don't need that.
So
But you give up a good chunk of your life. Imagine that. How much, if you really think about it, 2 days a week, if you really didn't need to give that up and
yeah,
you could do more,
that's
that's
like
a lot.
having, yeah, another 2 days. What?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, your week is
So
basically longer than everyone else's.
yeah, yeah. The last time I did a sleep study, the guy told me I was awake equivalent to someone who was like 62, just based on the amount of time I've been awake per hour. And I was like, oh, okay.
And how old are you, by the way?
42.
42. And
Yeah.
you definitely look very good. You
Oh,
don't
thank you, man.
look for the minimal amount of sleep you've been doing for 20 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, is it 20 years you said?
Yeah, I mean, I've been sleeping like that my whole life, but where I didn't feel tired or exhausted once I started getting the frequency stuff and
Mhm.
meditating and learning that, I've been doing it this way for about 20 years. Before I was on, coffees and energy drinks and all that stuff, just exhausting my body, and then I looked old.
Yeah, right.
And then when I stopped all that stuff and just I'm really, really healthy. I sun gaze, I moon gaze. I spend a lot of time outside. I ground, just things that are simple that we've just been disconnected from. And that's what's
Mm,
been really cool about Mystech. Mystech has been like a Trojan horse for spirituality and better living for so many people as long as I've been doing this, because
mm.
a lot of people are not sure it's a real thing. And so that's why we have like our little money back guarantee and spend as much time as needed explaining everything. And usually within a week, people are contacting us to get more or finding out like, hey, so is there anything else out there that I don't know about that I should know? And then we just direct them to a handful of other things that don't even have anything to do with our company, but will make them happier. And if they're happier, they're healthier and they're nicer to people when they're out. And that's ultimately my main goal. I feel like everyone's mean because they're in some type of pain or traumatic state that they don't know how to fix. And so if we can diffuse that at all, people are nicer. And that makes everything better.
Wow, wow, that is awesome. Did you mention about resonance? Like, what is resonance exactly?
So
Sorry,
it's just
take a sip
it
of your drink if you want.
yeah, it's essentially it's just matching our harmonica frequency. So I mean, I wish I had them with you right now, but I don't. So familiar with like tuning forks,
Tuning forks.
right?
Okay.
Tuning
Uh-huh.
forks. So
Yeah.
if you had like say an 852 hertz tuning fork and you had another one in the other hand and you rang the first one and just held it next to it, the other one would actually start vibrating without ever even touching it because it resonates at that frequency. So it wants to match.
Okay.
Right? So for all the bad singers that are out there, when they're singing their favorite song, they're trying to match the pitch and they're way off. That's not resonance. But if you nail the pitch, that's resonance, and
Right.
that's
Got
why it
you.
sounds good.
Right. Right. So, so the bands have some sort of resonance thing inside them, or the
Yeah. So it's
jewelry.
not. It's not what's inside it. It's just so anything that's not a liquid. Essentially, we just need a solid. We have a very specific process that we developed. I'm sure we have the only machine in the world that can do this. Um, very sure.
Mhm.
But essentially, we just have to know what the molecular structure of material type is, and we've been doing this long enough now that stainless steel is a specific thing, gold, blah 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 blah. So we just calibrate the machine to the material type, and then depending on the level of its density, it might run for 16 hours or it might run for maybe 26. A handful of kind of niche products that we have might run for 36 hours because there's not a lot of stuff to imprint and it takes a little bit longer. But once we run
Okay.
it through the machine, it's literally imprinted at a molecular level and it will never wear out. It's estimated at 300 to 400 years based off electromagnetic theory. Obviously, we don't have a way to test that. So that's why we said there's a lifetime warranty. If you ever think it's not working, send it to us. We'll send you a brand new one, no questions asked. The only thing that we're aware of, and we've been doing this over a decade, that will make our technology stop working is if you put it inside an MRI machine at a hospital, and they
Right.
generally make you take everything off before you get in, so you don't have to really worry about it. But we have had like MRI techs that didn't realize that they still had it on and zapped it. But it's very
Right.
rare for that to happen.
What about in an airport when you're going through,
Totally,
security? That's
totally
fine
fine. It's not strong
because
enough.
I've got mine,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
I've gone through security, and I've just kept it
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So
Totally fine. Totally fine.
right.
The MRI
So
is really the only thing.
is it useful when meditating? Does it put you in a deeper state, or does it work in synergy?
So yeah,
Is
yes
there
and no, and yes and no.
okay? Right.
So for the Schumann resonance, because your electric system and your body really goes into an aligned state, you will go into a deeper state, right? But I also have people that are like Reiki practitioners or energy workers, and they'll say like when they put the band on, they notice it was hard to move energy the way they normally would because the bracelet's really trying to hold you in that field. Once they realize it's there, if they don't know how to manipulate it, they sometimes will pass through, or sometimes they have to take it off. That being said, the pineal gland, right? That's at 852 hertz. So we have a frequency specifically for that. That helps with meditation at a very direct level because it's targeting that part of the body.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. So if I'm trying to open up my third eye, it might be advisable to take it off. Like if I'm
Well,
trying to,
that will still help open and align all that. That's
okay.
okay. That is okay.
Hmm.
It's more if you're trying to do like energy work and you're trying to move on someone else's field. like that's going to hold you at that, and manipulating this other, I don't know if you guys go into that stuff or not, but that's a
Yeah, we can go into that because yeah, I'd like to learn a bit more about that. Please
Yeah,
explain.
yeah. So and that's the other part of the Mystech part, and not a lot of people even know this, but just because I didn't like talking about it because it scared too many people away from the woo-woo stuff. But I've been a Reiki energy practitioner for 15 years. I've got maybe 2 dozen students that I've trained, and my son's amazing. And so aside from what we run through the machine, and what we do with the machine with the jewelry and everything we have, I personally sit with every single piece that we have for 15 minutes to 30 minutes and do a whole energy thing into them as well, just in an event that it actually does do something else for somebody else. So that's another way I know no one can duplicate our tech, because no one else is doing that to their jewelry with the machine that I'm aware of.
All
Right.
right.
And just because with that, I've seen amazing things with Reiki that I was the biggest skeptic in the world and would argue and everything, and came from a very scientific place. But after you see and experience some things over and over and over, how does it become not real? You know what I mean? So after that, I was just like, man, I guess this is the thing, and started getting into it and opening up to a whole another world and beautiful, wonderful, caring, healing people. And now we're all just, finding our own way to impact the world the way that we want. And I think we created something that's been pretty unique, and has been very compounding to see. We've got about 30 distributors now, and we're in 6 countries, and it's been crazy just to see it kind of do its own thing. And I don't even try
Yeah.
to plan it out. I kind of just stay in the flow and let the universe or whatever just decide what's going to happen. And it's been amazing.
So do you have actual scientific
Yeah.
data to say, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. So this is funny. On our YouTube channel, we were in Canada, right? It's my second time being in Canada. It was amazing. Had a blast.
Hmm.
And you guys heard of the doTERRA oil company?
No.
Okay,
What?
so over doTERRA, they're like essential oils.
I haven't heard of them, no.
Okay, so in the States, they're huge. They're like some $4 billion a year company or something. It's pretty big.
Hmm.
And there's the doTERRA booth is at this expo, right? And what these guys do is they're always set right next to like a third party live blood test company that they do your blood there, and then say, hey, we can give you a diet and blah blah, and that's what you pay for, right? But the blood
Right.
test, right? So they would show people that their oils actually do something because it'll change your blood work, whether you smell it or put it on or ingest it. So they'll let you get your blood done, try the oil, and then boom, you can see the oil scientifically is doing something to the blood, right?
Hmm.
Now, we're not the first company to have some type of healing bracelet, right? I'm sure we'll be the last one. We're just the only one that does this, or the way that we do it. So they come over and ask us, and he goes, hey, can we just prove your product? I'm like, what? He's like, I've heard a lot about your guys' product while I've been at this expo. And most of these healing bracelets, they don't actually do anything. We've been doing this for about 8 years, and not once that we've challenged them to a live blood test has anything ever happened. And so if you really have this thing that everyone's raving about, then, that's great. We'll talk about maybe partnering with you or something. But if not, we'd like to show that it's not real. And I was like, oh, yeah, you guys can do that. And he's like,
Right.
wait, what? I was like, yeah, please. What are you talking about? No one has my technology but me. I'm not really. He's like, that's what I'm like. Sure, that's fine. Listen, I don't. And as I'm talking to him, like down the aisle, there's some guys down there that are doing like magnetic or ion bracelets or something. I honestly can't remember which. And they're looking at me like shaking their head, like, don't do it, don't do it. I'm like, and he's like, yeah, we showed that those guys weren't real about 2 months ago. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm trying to tell you, man, no one's ever had this. I'm like, well, let's do it. I was like, but hold on, listen. Our technology, I'm just being honest with you, like you have to take vitamins 30 days before you see the results, they say. Our technology does take some time because everyone's electric exposure is different. Their diet of what their levels of conductivity is different. So I'm not going to have you do a blood test, have someone hold a bracelet, immediately do another blood test, and I think something happened, because that's not how our technology works. I'm just being honest with you. If you would be very, very cool with it, I'd like to have whoever you're gonna do the test hold like 4 pieces, because it'll make it happen a little bit faster, and give us like at least 4 hours. If they cannot eat or drink or do anything and just chill for 4 hours, that would be great. So it's not from anything but the bracelet. Is that fair? And he's like, you know what? Yeah, sure, I'll give you that. And I was like, and really, it takes like a week for it to max out. So even if you come back after the 4 hours, you're like, I'm not. I'm just like, it's not going to be a big thing for me, but we haven't done this in a while, so let's see what happens. So and we were swamped at this expo. We were having a really good time. And a few hours later go by, I actually had kind of forgotten about it. And you hear these people screaming on the other side of the expo hall. And I'm like, what is that? And they're getting louder and louder as they come, and they come over and they're freaking out. They're like, it worked. You got to see the video. And they're freaking out. And so we have that on our YouTube channel. And in 4 hours, at the very beginning, you can see like the blood platelets moving like really slow, right? And you see her circulation is really not that good. And she talks about some parasites that she can see and some digestive tract, and you look dehydrated and all these things, right? And then fast forward to 4 hours later, and she just sat there. That was it. Man, when the camera comes on, the blood pellets, Roger, we're talking they're flying across the screen. Okay, we're talking 315% improvement in circulation while sitting there, right?
Wow.
All the parasites gone, completely gone. She said their cells look supercharged. And so they want to come on board, and we partner with them and white labeled them for a while.
Amazing. Amazing.
And what's so crazy is when I see you again, I'll show you, because I guess I can't have this on the internet. But the same guys also ended up bringing on board this guy. I don't know if I can even say his name, but he was like one of the heads of EMF research in Canada, right?
Okay.
Also to again try to disprove it, right? Because the blood
Right.
tests are one thing, but can it really diffuse EMFs from the body? Because like nothing really does that. So this guy, when he comes on the video, you can see he's like irritated about it. Like, here's another company that thinks they've got this, but from what he says is, again, they can make paints and they can create, like little Faraday cages and so on, but they don't have a thing to directly, other than grounding, which takes quite a bit longer, that would diffuse EMFs from the body.
Hmm.
So no. So he goes through 3 different machines, and actually it's on our brochure. I can say the numbers. I just can't have the video online
Right.
for some
Right.
reason, right? Which is
Okay.
really weird. But so they go through the 3 different tests, and it does the magnetic pollution, the radio pollution, and the electric pollution in the body, right? And so he holds the little nodes and everything, and then they wait 15 minutes only this time, right? But again, he brings like 4 pieces, and they're our level 2, which is our top strength. And so after 15 minutes, the magnetic was down by 53%, the radio was down by 74%, and the electrical was down by 100% in 15 minutes. And the guy's like, I don't know how they did this, but scientifically, yes, something's, because nobody knows how our machine works. And I'm not going to tell anybody, because our machine can do really bad things as well. And I don't really care about the money. So, as long as I don't have to tell, I'm not going to. It's pretty unique how it works. But for him to say that and everything, I was like, this is amazing. No one can argue
Yeah.
with this anymore. I put it up on our website and on our YouTube channel. And 2 days later, I got a cease and desist letter, and they said we had to take it off the internet.
Say that again.
We
Two
got a
days
cease and desist letter, and they said that we had to take it off the internet. At least that's what they told me.
later.
And so I was like, well, hey, that's cool. That just means that they know the technology is real, and we're just not supposed to be talking about it. And dude, I'm telling you, when I first started, my wife freaked out. We used to get hate mail and have people show up at our locations and follow us. It was kind of weird. But to me, it just meant we were doing the right
Wow.
thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. And I was like, babe,
Mm.
listen, I'm okay with that. Like, I know that's not what you want me to hear, but that's cool. So I was like, I'll pull back on the throttle a little bit, and we'll market a little bit more loosely and give it some time. And so about 2 years ago is when we started really expanding again, and now here we are. Now we've got the headphones that change music, and we've got lights, and we just got this edible gold powder that we're going to be imprinting to the frequency of the sun. It's going to it'll replace energy drinks.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. When is that going to be available? Is it going to be powder that you put in any beverage, or are you going to actually
yeah,
do the whole beverage
no,
itself?
no, no, just the powder, just the powder.
Mhm.
And a friend of mine sent this to me like 4 months ago, and it never arrived. And it said it was here and everything, and my post couldn't find it. And then this last week when I go pick it up, it was just there. And I was like, oh, okay, so I guess that's why I couldn't do it before, because I'm supposed to do it now. But
Mhm.
when it was the first my music group Dragon Tribe, our first festival that we did in Florida, we met this brother that we've known for who knows how many lives before. It was just immediate family, and he had this gold edible powder. You come by while we're sitting there, we were meditating, we were doing all these things, and he just throw it around, and we're just covered in this gold powder. He's like, oh, you can put it in the drink too. And I was like, is this real gold? He's like, 24 karat gold. And I was like, man, can I get this? I have a really good idea. I think this would be amazing if we imprint it to like the frequency of the sun, and you can put it on as paint, or you can ingest it whatever you want. But again, it's resonance, so it's also going to enter the body, internal, external. And the
Mhm.
sun frequency is my favorite frequency of everything that we have, aside from octave, which is what you've got.
Octave. Right. So what is the sun frequency? What's the number?
126.22 hertz is yellow sun.
Okay.
And what's really funny because we don't have it listed as yellow sun, and that's what I'm saying. This is what's weird, right? Like we've never even told anyone that, right? We just say it's a sun frequency. How is
Mhm.
that this event?
Oh, sorry. It's gone
Can you hear me now?
quiet. Yes,
Can you hear
yes.
me? Sorry,
Yeah.
I was getting so. I was at this Conscious Life Expo in LA, and some guy like picks the bracelet up, and he was like, "Yo, is this the sun frequency?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we didn't have any signs up for it or anything. Like they look gold, but we have other gold stuff as well. There's just um, this one little beaded bracelet of gold.
Hmm.
And he was like, "And I like this. This is yellow sun." I'm like, "What did you just say to me?" He goes, "This is old sun from like 1987, like yellow sun." I have no idea how he knows that, but that's like our reason. That's like the date, like the year of our getting that and using that as the number. So I have no idea how he knew that, but that's what I'm saying. Like when weird things like that happen, that there's no other way to explain it. And yeah.
Wow.
But
Wow.
we were using that frequency because we were trying to combat what 5G was going to be bringing. And so we have a bracelet also called our pre 5G because they keep changing how 5G works. Like
Okay.
it's expanded and gone through so many variations and everything. So we have a bracelet essentially that has the Schumann resonance in it. It also has the frequency of colloidal silver to reboost your immune system, and then it has the frequency of the sun as well, because in some spots where 5G is, the waves are so dense it actually filters out parts of UV light. So
Oh,
that's what we
wow.
wanted to reproduce.
Wow. So people who go out and sunbathe and stay in the sun quite intensely, are you saying that they could be fully protected?
Yeah,
Or yeah?
yeah. I mean, again, depending on and this is just at a because what we're talking about is quantum, but there's still science in other parts of the body, right? So while yes, it will protect you from like the 5G stuff, but from the sun's rays, that's going to depend on your melanin levels,
Okay. Okay. Right.
right? And that's going to depend on what your diet is, your genetics, obviously. But there are things that people can do to naturally boost their levels of melanin. And the sun is not bad for you. The sun is amazing for you. Like you should take your fruits and vegetables before you eat them and soak them out in sunlight for like 10 to 15 minutes first and get those biophotons back in your body. That's
Hmm.
another thing we're releasing this year will be like fruit and produce bowls that are imprinted because in the States, at least, all the fruits and vegetables just sit out under bright lights all day and just absorb all these bad EMFs. And then you go and eat that. So
Hmm.
we've already tested it, and we've taken the same batches of fruit and put them in the same bowl, but one's been imprinted and one's not. And then printed ones stay fresh about a week and a half longer because they're
Amazing.
not curating as quickly because their system is working correctly.
That's fascinating stuff. So you'd mentioned earlier about doing lots of natural things like grounding as well.
Hmm.
I know that grounding reduces inflammation in the body. Is there something similar to the imprinting of your technology and grounding that has similarities or
It's yes, it's almost the exact same thing.
right?
We've told people many times this is like grounding without having to ground because when you go in ground, you're literally resonating with 7.83 hertz. As long as the electric payload in your area hasn't saturated the ground and messed it up terribly. But if you're grounding, that's essentially what's happening. This just because of the field that it is that's specifically charged to this frequency, it's a much stronger field than the other ones that are not in resonance. So your body just it's not that it's turning you into a shield, it's making it so the EMFs that do still pass through your body have no negative impact, like a
Okay.
string almost.
Mm.
Right? And this is why earlier I was talking about those shields and those blockers. If you're wearing a little EMF blocker on your chest and it's this big, that one little space is where it's blocked. Meanwhile, the rest of your body is still absorbing and getting saturated. One of the worst things that people can do is have those blockers on the back of your phone, right? Have you
EMF.
ever seen the EMF blockers? There's like a little disc they put on the back of their phone.
I've got well, this is a EMF protecting case from
Okay,
the
so
Tender
okay,
Shop.
so I can't stress this enough. It's very important.
Talk to
Every
me.
time that you put your phone in your pocket, make sure that the case is facing you, not
Oh,
facing away.
oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Because
I always do
otherwise,
that.
that shield will bounce a double amount right back into you because it's not escaping the other direction. So the shields, again, if you're using in the right way, that's great for the one cell phone. Meanwhile, the other 5,000 feet of electronics are still coming at you. But if it's
Hmm.
facing you, it's actually making it a lot worse for you.
Right.
Even back in the day, and oh man, I should have showed you this. This is great. So you just do this to someone and show them. So the field coming off of the phone is so strong, probably even with your block, and that's why I want you to try this. You know that little arm test, and you just push down, right? The arm test that I had you do.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, don't worry about the leg part, right? Just have someone put their arm out to the side and have them hold it really strong,
Mhm.
and push just enough to where you can feel the resistance. You know, don't try to break their arm or anything, but just where you can feel that it's firm, right? They're not moving it.
Mhm.
Then take your phone out, turn it on for a second, and hold it right on their shoulder, and do it again, and their arm will melt.
Right.
They
Wow.
at all, at all. So that's just, and then you take the phone away, and their arm will go back to being strong again. You know, we are electric beings. People just forget this. You know, you're on the operating table, something goes bad. They don't set you on fire, throw what they hit you with a volt of electricity. We are electric. Like
Yeah.
so, yeah. So we're
Mhm.
bringing the body back to as close to optimization as possible. You know, that doesn't mean that if someone has some genetic disease, we're going to fix that, but it's going to process in the body and affect the body in a much more natural way. So over the decade of doing this, the feedback that we get, just depending on how severe the issue is usually anywhere from a 25 to 60% improvement of every ailment that we're aware of within a week. And sometimes we've had 100%. We've had some people are like, I don't know if I'm feeling it or anything. I'm like, okay. When you take vitamins, do you feel the vitamin C kicking into your you don't feel it. But what's very cool is after wearing it for a week straight, if you take it off for 2 days, it takes about 36 to 48 hours for your body to get resaturated with all the bad EMFs again. And so after 2 days, your body will reset, and all the stuff that you weren't sure if it was helping or not hits you like a truck. And you're like, wait, it was working. And we've had so many people, and because I don't really care about money, I really want people just to be themselves and think for themselves and be, creative and do these powerful things that we can all do. So we, when we had our 10-year anniversary, we had just like 2 days before our 10-year anniversary, we had hit our 1,000th return in a decade, like return, right? And
Wow.
we have a 30-day money back guarantee. And so I was
Hmm.
so excited that that was such a low number and everything. But then we tracked, we had closer to like 4,300, I think, or 4,700 people that had mailed it back thinking it wasn't working. But before we had time to refund them, they either emailed us or called us freaking out, going, hey, I made a mistake. I didn't realize it was working and sent you guys, can you please mail it back? And because I knew that they sent it back because their friend or family or someone said it wasn't real and got in their head, I'd argue with them and tell them, like, I'd rather refund you. Are you going to start doing these things and do your own research? And okay, if you're going to do that, I'll send it back to you. But otherwise, no. I'm like, wait, what? I'm not the business owner that's trying to make money with this thing. I'm trying to make the world a better place. And if you're going to keep doing that, I'm sorry, you're not the person I want to help. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's
Mm.
an interesting thing to see people like really transform and grow and go in this way. And it's interesting because most business people don't talk that way. But
Mm. Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah, for sure. But
it's
it
fun.
shows your confidence, you know. Um, what sort of what other types of benefits are there? Like, let's say, for instance, sports specific type of people, people who, I don't know, football
Yeah,
players and maybe, people
yeah,
who
yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
very athletic. Would
Yeah.
they find a difference in their
Oh,
athletic performance and that sort of thing?
yeah. It's huge. So I've had a lot of basketball, had a lot of basketball players, especially and golfers, where the first like maybe 2 to 3 games or 2 to 3 practices, their shots off because they're jumping higher than normal and their arm movements are more fluid and the golfer's swing is more fluid than he's used to. And so there's usually a little adjustment period for some athletes. But once they find that, like everything is improved. We had years ago, cops tell us that their aim improved at the shooting range, right? It doesn't really matter what it is, anything that someone's going to be working on, there's going to be levels of improvement just because your body itself is working better. For athletes specifically, earlier when you'd mentioned like it just makes you stronger, it's really just stabilizing and locking your fibers at a more quantum level than they normally are, so everything works more congruently, right? So if you think of like a brick wall, right? That's the example I like to give people a lot. If you have all the bricks in place and you hit the top of the wall, it's solid, it's not going anywhere. But if you turn a bunch of bricks down the middle and push, it's going to give. And that's what
Mhm.
these electronics do to our cells at that level. So all we're doing is just re-putting the bricks back into place and cementing them in, and now your body is just stable. That's it. Because of that, you also get about 20 to 30% more flexibility. So chances of injuring or getting hurt goes down. Because everything's more stable, people's strength tends to improve. And again, it's not improving. It's just you're taking the electric ankle weights off.
Right. Yeah.
So your body's going back to normal. So that's another reason that this is not something that people cannot not use, because it's not giving you an advantage. It's just taking away your disadvantage that you weren't aware of. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. What about okay, so
And then
similar to
balance,
grounding.
balance also, obviously balance is another big thing for athletes, and balance improves tremendously. Um, Recovery time, and that's the thing for Octave. So Octave is a dual frequency bracelet. This is the best thing that I think we've created in a decade. I actually like it even better. Yeah, I like that
There it
even
is,
better than our
guys.
master bracelet. Our master bracelet has 15 frequencies in it. That has two. But I've seen, experienced, heard from, had more testimonials from those two frequencies in combination doing more than the master bracelet in different things. The master bracelet's for completely other things. But the Octave bracelet has things in it for like rejuvenation, regeneration of the body, pituitary gland stimulation, muscle development. So Octave is like the perfect thing for like fitness people, athletes, yoga, any of those things, because it's targeting the parts of the body that we're already trying to enhance. And then the other thing that's cool about it is that secondary frequency, and we still don't know how. But honestly, letting everyone, I don't know how. For whatever reason, it seemed to like boost the original Schumann resonance as well. So I don't know what type of harmonic thing that those two are making together, or if it's whatever the octave is doing is allowing the Schumann to be even more. I don't know. But those two together are doing way more than we ever expected. And so it's been very cool. And so at this point, I'm like, listen, I like all of our products, and we are working on a couple of new styles for it. Right now, it's just in that silicone, and then we have another one that just has like our logo on it. We are working on getting something a little bit more fancy, like some tungsten and some stainless steel stuff in the octave. It's all I really want to sell right now. Like I think it's what everyone needs to have. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are coming into this like new time of, especially for the spiritual people, new time of the 3D to 5D and all these other things. Those spiritual people have all been telling me like the octave has just put them in deeper meditative states, enhance their abilities that they've been working on, freeing them away from everyone else's opinions and just making them really feel just like themselves for the most they ever have.
Yeah.
So that's what I want for everybody. Love you. Wife's going to work.
Okay, cool. Um, okay, so you got many different bracelets. And I see that you've got many on your wrist.
Bro,
So
I have two tattoos with it.
two tattoos with it.
Yeah, we're releasing it this year. There's a company called Dynamic Ink here in the States, and they have an ink called Triple Carbon. And so it has 3 times the amount of carbon than their regular black. And that's the one that takes about 36 hours in our machine. But as long as you don't get an MRI, you can just get this permanently put in you, and you don't have to worry about wearing jewelry. So
That is wild.
yeah. So we're gonna be releasing it in 5 different frequencies, and again, because of what I teach, I make a lot of sacred geometry and different symbols and stuff. So we'll also even be releasing some specific like tattoo designs that we make specific for the frequencies. But people can get them whatever they want to, and as long as their tattoo artist will use the ink, we're solid.
Are they going to be like basic tattoos or like real proper art? Because tattoos are quite expensive. So I could imagine,
No,
you know,
they'll be like little like, I don't want to say exactly like Norse type runes or anything like that, but it'll be like little simple, simple little designs, little alchemy symbols, different little things like that, but something nice and neat. And if anyone's familiar with the little like 5 millimeter drams, those tiny little bottles that for like essential oil samples and stuff, that's
mhm.
all that you need. You just need that little bitty amount. So even if you use that as like an outline for your tattoo, whatever, but you won't have to have a lot of it. You just can't get an MRI done.
Right.
But
Okay.
but
Otherwise,
yeah,
you
I
need
mean,
to come
working on
back.
that.
Yeah.
Without going too far down that rabbit hole, we're releasing condoms, we're releasing yoni eggs. We have frequencies for that. The feedback on that was amazing. Um, the lights, some different food things that we're working on, and that's what's been really fun is because we have so many different frequencies, we can do a lot. It just depends on what people want. And I've tried so many projects. That's the other benefit of not sleeping, right? At some point, you will get a little levels of delirium here and there, and the really best ideas come then. So
Yeah.
we've come up with so many different things. We've got pipes that enhance cannabis. I was plant food that makes plants grow faster. We've got plant lights implanted to the sun frequency, but it's not always things that take off because people don't always know about it or want that interest. So the
Mm.
headphones are the newest thing that I'm sold out of them as soon as we get them every single time.
Yeah. Talk to me about the headphones because you showed me at the trade stand, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm confused because it's a Bluetooth headphones, but it doesn't emit any, well, dangerous radiation.
Yeah,
So yeah, please explain.
yeah. So, well, so our headphones will still do, they'll still do the Bluetooth thing.
Yeah.
But if you have our bracelet on, then you're fine. You don't have to worry about that. Instead, the headphones themselves are imprinted to 432 hertz. It's the natural frequency of music. People go, I highly suggest checking this out. It's very interesting, very weird. But in World War II, they changed the frequency of music to 440 hertz that they were playing in all the camps, and it made everyone more lethargic, a little bit more depressed, less wanting to revolt. All these things is a scientific thing that they discovered. So in 1940, it's 42 or 47, depending on where you look, but 1940s, the whole world adopted 440 hertz as the new musical standard. So all music all got converted over to this other frequency. And so all the music that we hear right now is at this other spot that's very non-resonant. And like your favorite song, if you heard it at 432, would be your favorite song in a whole different way. At
What?
432 hertz, you feel the music in your body, like it resonates through your whole being, right? And we even have bracelets for 432, and it makes people very happy and very like uplifted. It's incredible. But so I met this dude, Dwayne Rock Ramos, at this expo, and he's like a old hip hop producer that he used to work with like Busta Rhymes and Wu Tang and sold like 40 million albums and sold everything, right? And I was like, "Do you want to hear your music for the first time?" And he goes, "What did you say to me?" I give him the headphones. This man starts crying in my booth, confused. He was like, I've been doing this my whole life. I thought I was a music expert. I feel like I don't even know what is this?" The man came to my lecture the next day and like just jumped in the middle of the lecture again, telling everyone how freaked out he was and like whatever this is. I'm telling y'all, like I've never heard my music like this before. And certain artists like Elton John, Billy Hendrix, the Beatles, they actually, a lot of them, if you go and look, would go back and re-release some of their same albums at 432 hertz instead. And a lot of times people thought it was a brand new album because it sounds and affects the body in such a different way. So we've got over the ear ones and earbuds that do it in real time. And
Right.
then we have
And
a cool speaker thing that will make a field of it. Like we have lights that will put the Schumann resonance about 15 feet out from it, and you can like kind of feel being in the field. It's very cool.
mm,
Um, but we have a speaker slash light that does the same thing.
right,
It's
right.
the same thing. I have those as well, but they're very cool. They're not like crazy loud and bassy. It's not made for that. It's more to be an energetic tool and be
Mm.
listening to music that's really clean and really building the body and energy parts of it. But that's not what everyone wants. So for the people that want
Yeah.
something really loud, get that speaker. But for something that's going to give you, real music, real music, like this is, yeah, there's nothing like it.
So just so I understand this clearly, the Bluetooth in it is safe because if you have the bracelet, okay,
Correct.
right, okay,
Also, the Bluetooth, the little Bluetooth ones also come with like a carrying case. I just couldn't find one that's big enough. But so the Bluetooth like will fit right in here. And this case is imprinted to 7.83 hertz. So if
right,
you carry this with you, if you don't have a bracelet, whatever, just have that in your pocket while you're carrying your headphones around, this will do it too.
okay, right, right.
And then those little like LED, like they look like a hockey puck with just like a slide that goes in and they light up.
Oh yeah.
So we have a bunch of different styles like that. Like we have like an Ankh, and we have like little guy meditating and some other things, but those are the lamps that we have that will make the field of it. And what's cool is if you like take the slide out, you can just use the light right on your skin and you can like feel the light go up and down your arm. It's crazy, but it's light and you're like, how am I? It's very cool, but you're feeling the frequency.
Why was the length of the music or frequency of the music changed from 432 to 440?
Because it makes people more depressed and easier to control, more lethargic.
Right.
So that's why they played it in the camps.
Okay. And this is what is currently being played naturally.
Everywhere, everywhere. Yep. And so this is the thing, and I've talked to some musicians about this, and it's one of these difficult things to explain. So I'll do my best and ask questions, and maybe we'll find a happy place in the middle.
Hmm.
So ultraviolet light wasn't discovered until like 1803, right? Now that doesn't mean it wasn't there the whole time, but we didn't fully understand what it was or how to explain it, right?
Mm.
So a lot of musicians know that you can go in and you can tune your music to 432 specifically, and that's fine. But you, like, a lot of times people will go online and they'll be listening to 432 hertz, the audible sound, but it's actually been processed through at 440. So you're hearing the sound of 432, but you're hearing it on a 440 wave.
Right. Okay.
Right. So what our music does is it's not changing the sound. You can still listen to 528 hertz and you're going to get a pure 528 hertz because it's coming on a 432 hertz wave. It's writing that. So there's two different components that are there. So this isn't going to change the pitch of the music or make it sound more high or low or do any of those things at all. You're still going to hear the music. You're going to just get it on a 432 hertz wave versus a 440. And that's what has all the pure sound and all the things that are in it that resonates so strongly with the body. Like a minute ago, I had mentioned that we're going to be releasing like condoms and yoni eggs, right? One of the frequencies that we have for them is 432 hertz because it puts people in such a happy place. Like it's a very interesting phenomenon. But I'm telling you, you go online and look it up. This is a crazy rabbit hole that this is why a lot of people don't know about it because when you go down this, there's so much,
What
so
what
much.
is there in a particular chakra that the 432 is aligned with?
No,
No.
no, a
Right.
whole different game. There's so many systems within the body. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, and
Mm.
that's one thing that's crazy to think about. And man, I wish I had it right now to show you. But have you ever seen like it shows like the frequency spectrum of the known universe, and will show like from gamma waves to radio waves, and right, it's
Yeah.
a very long scale of all the different frequency spectrums,
Different
right?
way. Yeah.
Right. Well, right, in like somewhere in the middle, very, very, very tiny. That's what we can see and hear and experience.
Right.
And that's like 1/100th of everything else that's going around us, right? So while it's not a chakra point in the body, there is something about us being musically inclined, and that is the divine harmony of where music is supposed to be. So there's something in the human being that makes that do a thing. Like another example, and this is from a spiritual thing, 111 hertz is supposed to be the frequency of divinity. So we have these little pendants that we got laser engraved with, like, the flower of life and little 111
Hmm.
imprinted to the 111 hertz. When we gave this out, every single thing that we were reading from the spiritual things about finding divinity and finding your oneness and getting rid of people's outside influences, all these things, that's all the reports that we're getting back from people. And this was just sending out the samples to see, yo, so let us know. And here's a handful of questions. And why is everyone saying this? That's what it, all right, well, let's try this one. And so, and that's what we say is in our biohacking division. This is the stuff that we don't have the science for it. These are things that we're still in the testing and everything, but this is the feedback that we've got. If you don't have the things you're looking for, send it back. We'll refund you right away. No problem.
Hmm.
In worst case scenario, and it is definitely possible, if you think like other types of medicine, I hate even saying that, but it's sometimes people's pain or something is so bad that they need a stronger dosage than they initially got, right?
Yeah.
So my grandma's a very good example. She had some type of weird cluster migraines that she had to wear a TENS unit her whole life that would just zap the back of her neck to try to deaden out the nerves to make her headaches. By the way, she had a headache all day long, right?
Right.
When I gave her her first bracelet, I think she'd been wearing it for like 60 some years at that point, right? And for the first 2 months, she said her headaches were pretty much gone. Like she freaked out. I was blown away. I was like, yeah, it's great. My grandma was the sweetest woman ever. But after 2 months, and she didn't even tell me this because, again, supporting loving grandma, apparently her pain came back, but she didn't want to say anything to me. I was like, well, why don't you tell me? Let's get some more on you. And so she's the only person that's ever had this. We had to get 8 bracelets on her, 8 level 2 bracelets, and then she was finally able to take it off permanent. And once I finally got it off the second time, when I found out, because I saw it on her, and I was like, oh yeah, after about 2 months, I just didn't say anything, and I haven't seen it. I realized that the TENS unit had been putting bad EMFs into her body for the last 60 years directly. And it was
Oh,
crazy. So once she got it off, not only did her headaches go away, some digestive things and a couple other things that she had all just went away because she wasn't so polluted with electricity.
mm.
So
So,
sometimes it does happen where people are like, yeah, I mean, I felt maybe something the first day or two, but I don't know. And most of the time I'll tell people, like, listen, if you message me and you're just being honest, a lot of times I'll be like, well, listen, I'll send you another 3. No charge. Like, I'll just put those on and let me know if that does it. If not, send them all back and I'll refund you anyways. But usually it's just that they need more.
right.
But I tell everyone to start with 1 because saying that you need more right off the bat or buy more off the bat just seems salesy to me. And as long as I've been doing this, most of the time people are okay with 1. So not everyone needs to be a crazy person to wear a bunch like me. But most of our distributors wear like a dozen or more. They just There's just something about having that new car feel that you've never had and
Hmm.
give up.
But yeah, I mean, it almost seems advertising in saying that you can have it for free. I don't want people to get, they'll
That's
be
okay.
interested. You know, I want to get it, and then afterwards, don't think it's working. Send me
Yeah.
another.
Yeah. Well, again, and I'll try to have a conversation. Like we've got a little customer service department, but I try to handle most of those myself because I want to be. That's why I do an expos. I want to be in with the people and find out like what's your real experience and is there any more fine tuning that we need to do? Is there something else that you guys would rather have? Like
Mhm.
that's we're here to fill a need because again, if you don't have pain and with our distributors, most of them this is all that they do now for a living. So imagine being able to just work a couple of days a week and make a great living and know you're making an impact and helping people.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really bother me. But again, if I'm talking to someone and they're like, yeah, no, I'm like, then send it back. No problem.
Hmm.
And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's okay. If you want to send it back, send it back. No problem.
Yeah.
If you
Um,
want to try some more, cool. And we even have people do, I do like, we've gone down now, but when we were promoting a lot, we used to do like 500 custom orders a month too. People would send us wedding rings, watches, their own jewelry. Because again, we just have to calibrate our machine and we can imprint it. So that's
right.
another really fun thing for us to do as well. And every time I give someone's piece back, they always kind of freak out a little bit because I think we might have talked about this at the show a little bit, but when you wear jewelry for a long time and take it off and your body feels like naked in that spot,
Hmm.
it's because your jewelry already has a frequency that your body's used to. When you remove it, that's what the body's weirded out about, that frequency is absent.
Right.
So when someone gives me their wedding ring and we've actually changed the frequency, if I'm physically there to see them put it on, like every single time, I'm telling, I might be maybe one or two, maybe not, but I'm telling you, every time in a decade, they put it on, like all their hair on their arm stands up on edge, and they're like, "Whoa, what is that? What is this really my ring?" Because the body's so smart, subconsciously gets weirded out that it knows that this is the same ring, but the frequency is different, and the whole body goes through this whole little like shiver of what is that? It's amazing to see every single time.
That's wow. Yeah, that's incredible. So you've got lots of different bracelets which are at different frequencies, I'm
Yep,
assuming.
yep.
What
And
would you
different strength
suggest?
levels, different
Different
combinations.
strengths. Any particular reason why you have so many?
Well, because again, we have different parts of our body that resonate at different things.
Hmm.
And so, like, I wear two of our master bracelets. So the master bracelets have two frequencies for each solfeggio, a physical frequency and an energy frequency. So I want all my chakras and all that stuff because of the other stuff I do in my meditations and after, all these really fun. I'm trying to bring, old school wizarding back in the modern world, but and from a very scientific point of view,
Yeah.
this is very important. It allows all those channels in my body to operate at a different capacity. And with not sleeping, I'm very, very in tune with my body and I can just feel those things, wearing octave, like I wear 6 octaves, Nadia that you met at the event, she was
Yes.
like, hey, and she's like our biggest fan. She's amazing. And she's been helping me with this for a long time. She's like, Halo, have you put 6 octaves on yet? I'm like, what? No, why? Why? She's like, Halo, trust me, just put 6 octaves on. She was like, my muscle mass is coming in so much faster. I'm not doing anything different. I just put them on, and I'm telling you, at my energy level, just do it. And I was like, okay. And so I got up and put 6 on, and I definitely noticed a very substantial difference in my energy level as a whole. And this isn't the kind of like jittery energy and stuff that fizzles out. It's a very sustainable, very pure, very it's great. And people are like,
Hmm.
what do you mean you don't sleep? I'm like, you don't need that. Like really, this is and that's what's interesting. There's biohacking right now has such a broad term and everything. I'm like, yes, this is the real biohacking. Like we're literally using frequencies to hack the body. Like
Yeah.
it's very, very specific. And then I have a doctor, Elena. She's out of Hawaii, and Harry Judge, my man, he runs Mystech Canada. Amazing, amazing guy. Um, Elena is actually doing. She's like a doctor, and she's creating all these medical protocols. So when people come in, she's got all of our different frequencies, and she goes through and does like very specific, even more broad, and is making videos for us to be able to show more people, like tests of, oh, you need 417 hertz. You've got some menstrual and sacral area things. This frequency targets this, and your body shows that that's actually what it wants. And go through, and she's like diagnosing people with frequencies instead of this other stuff.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and I love it. And it's one of these things to where like there's no, you're not paying monthly for a subscription. You're not putting harsh chemicals in your body. You're not, this is the most innovative thing that you can do. It's natural. There's no negative side effects. Like we you can't beat it. You can't. but it takes the doing the research first. You're like, don't even get it right away. Go and do the research, watch the videos, see all the stuff. The only thing that no one's going to know is how we do it. That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, you can find all the things about the effects, how it's done. You know, we even had you ever seen the aura photography? Did I
Who?
show you those pictures at the event? Aura photography?
I think you might have. I think someone else has shown me something like that before, where you can
Okay.
actually see the aura. It's like it's almost like a color spectrum outside the
Yeah.
person's body
Yeah,
on
yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
image, right?
Yep, yep, yep. Now look, that's not like some magic camera that can spiritually see your energy aura, right? It actually comes from biofeedback. So usually they have this little like plate that has a handprint on it. And the hand has all these little nodes, and each one of those nodes reads a different biometric of your body. And then that biometric transposes and shows by translating this is what your aura looks like. You
Hmm.
know, if it's detecting that you're at a calm space in your mind, it might give you like a white aura that you're in a pure space. You know, your heart's racing, it might show something red, but it's just reading your biometrics. Right.
Hmm.
So but it's very cool. So that's even another test we had. Some woman had just got her aura photography done, and it showed she was in this like low depressed state. And she's like, and I really do feel like that. And look at the colors here, and there's a little hole over here, and it's just low energy. Is this going to help with that? And I'm like, well, this is working on your physical body. You know, they mirror each other, but I don't want to say yes just so you buy it because it's not really directed for that. So yeah, but I don't know how much. That's best I can give you. She's like, okay, I think I'll get one. Didn't know this, immediately put it on and goes over and gets a new photo done in like less than 5 minutes. And she comes over with the owner of the guy that's doing the aura photos. And he's okay, now what is this? Now, again, her old photo was like yellow and orange and kind of spotty. The new picture that she came over with on the right side, which was she had a bracelet on, by the way, had this pure bright green streak just shooting up her right arm, and the rest of the body was still over on this like yellow orangey thing. And he's like, what is this? Because I've never seen anything like this.
Hmm.
So again, it's something we can show the effects and the effects and the effects and the effects, but most people don't have access to like a diffractometer. It's like a $50,000 machine that you need to read resonant frequencies. The same way people don't drive around with something to measure the octane in their gas. You know, you just if you put the gas in, the car goes. You
Yeah.
know, you put this on, all these things are going to happen to the body. It's amazing.
Ooh, this is incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
Man,
I think we covered
I think
it.
pretty much everything. I'm really trying to run through my mind right now if there's, but no, I think we covered pretty much
Mm,
everything, man.
mm. So I'm sure there's going to be some people who are going to be very interested to watch some of the videos and, you know, maybe check out some testimonials, but definitely to get something for themselves. I'm
Yeah.
assuming you've got all the different bracelets and jewelry on your website. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Some of the things will say sold out. Um, if someone wants the things that say sold out, I would say just shoot us an email and we give you an idea of how long it takes to get in.
Mhm.
It's usually the other frequencies that run out because we'll make so many at a time. But for us to change our machine to a different frequency, we have to run it for 24 hours blank to wipe it, then another 24 hours to set it to the new frequency, then another day to imprint depending on the material type. So
Right.
the things like the master bracelets, when those sell out, those might take us 4 to 5 weeks to ship because we have to imprint all the beads again. Now we're
Mhm.
really stocked up right now, but I'm just saying if we have something, we'll follow up and let you know the how and the why. And sometimes people are like, can I get a replacement? And if they do that, that's great. And when the other one comes in, we'll still try to send the original one as well. Like
Right.
we just want to get this on people so they can experience it and see it and find out that we're a lot more than we think.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
So yeah, so
Um,
if they want to look at the YouTube stuff, it's Mystech Movement, and I've because we released I think 6 new products this last year, maybe 7. So I really fell off of our content. So some of the videos are going to be a little bit older and everything, but we're working on getting more things updated, and we're revamping the website, and that's almost done. But it's been really fun to see. This was just such a small idea, and now it's really taken off, man. It's been great.
yeah, exciting. I'm
Yeah.
sure people will be sending you videos themselves from testimonials and their own experiences, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that was
Yeah.
great, man. When GoPro first came out, all the events we all every person at all locations had GoPro cameras on. And before I started testing, every person, hey, it's okay if I record this. And so you have everything just live in real time, and just people freaking out and screaming, and sometimes curse and sometimes running off. Like but it's just such a fun thing to experience. And then we have, people do it to each other. And every once in a while we'll do like a testimonial giveaway. And we gave away, I think, like 15 grand worth of products this year
Wow.
during our testimonial giveaway, which was very cool. We've had one woman order like 32 master bracelets. I'm like, the $350 a pop. I'm like, why do you keep ordering these? You had way more than enough after two. Yeah, I'm giving it to everyone. These are like the greatest gift. I'm just like, so we did like a little tree planting thing. Like we do different promotions different times, and so we like planted a bunch of trees in her name, and so yeah, we just want to work with people. So that's what I was gonna say. If someone does go to the site and get anything, like we should even get you set up as an affiliate so they can get a little discount and kick you with something for spreading the
Yeah,
word about it.
sure. Yeah, sure. We can give them a discount. What sort
Yeah,
of discount you want to give them?
like 15% off, 20% off.
Hey, whatever's comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Normally I'll use my name with a number at the end. So if it's 15%, then Snipes 15 or Snipes 20. You just let me know. Whatever works.
Let's do Snipes 20. I'm cool with that.
All right, cool. Snipes
Yeah.
20 it is.
Yeah, that's right.
20%.
I will say 20. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, because this is something I want people to try. Um, for if you have, I know you've got followers and people everywhere, but I will say the international stuff, because we just got over the holidays, was crazy this year during the holidays. That might be the only thing. So just know that we're usually really good about it, but we had a couple, and one was like, "Where's my package?" I'm like, "It's in Romania right now. You can see it in transit. I'm not a shipping company. I don't know what to tell you." And so those are the most fun emails that I have. But other than that, we've got a lot of good people all over the UK that we just had a distributor that retired. So we
Right.
don't have any distributors over there right now, but I think when we come out to the expo, we'll probably end up getting a couple. But yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. We'll set that up.
Yes.
I'll set up Snipes 20.
Yeah.
That'll be live. I don't know whenever this is gonna go, but it'll be live by then. I'll have it up today.
Yeah. 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 Brilliant. Brilliant. Sounds cool. So they'll just visit the website and just use code Snipes 20 and they'll get 20% off. Yeah.
Yep,
Brilliant.
yep,
Brilliant.
yep. Mystech.net, Mystech.
Yeah.
And
I'll put that in the show notes anyway so people
cool,
can just click on it.
cool. Yeah, and
That's
yeah, and all the social media stuff, anywhere we're at, we love hearing feedback. It's my favorite part. And then I've got two boys. Sorry, last thing I say is to me is very important. I've got two boys, and my 15-year-old, he actually makes a lot of our beaded bracelets after we get them imprinted. And so he saved up like a few thousand already. And I was like, "You can get a car?" And he's like, "Dad, I'm taking you to Japan." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "It's your life dream. If I can like make that happen for you." I'm like, "Dude, buy a car." He's like, "Nope, we're going to Japan." So I was like, Okay. So for him, like every testimonial we get, like we have like little, family dinners and everything, and I'll make him go through and read all of our testimonials, and he'll get all emotional and everything. But to know like this is what we're doing, it's not about, hey, we just got this many sales and we just got to like, that's not really a thing. So we very, very, very much like, I don't want to say beg, but love to get feedback, because that's what fuels all of our stuff and lets us know what we can improve on, what changes that we're making in people's lives. Like that's everything. So whatever way people want to reach out to us, whether it's the website, it's IG, whatever, we just want to get the feedback, and we're not afraid of any of the questions other than how does the machine work. Other than
Yeah.
that, ask me whatever you want to, and I'll give you the secrets of the universe when I figure them out. Like we got this together.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, that's beautiful, man. Halo, it's been an
Right,
absolute pleasure.
man.
I'm super excited to share this, and I think after seeing you with all those bracelets, I think I need some more myself.
I'm telling you, send me your address, and I'll send you out a little goodie bag. I've
Nice.
been waiting. If you're cool with getting the earbuds, I'm sold out of the headphones even for my next shipment, but I think I've got like 8 or 9 of the earbuds left that are ready to go right now. If you're cool with trying those out, I'll throw those in. But
Yeah.
yeah, I got a couple different little things I've already started putting together for you and also for Tim, that I just want to
Mhm.
send out so you guys can try this. Because look, that's the other thing with you doing what you do, especially with being so physical with your body, everything, like your body,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mm.
So you trying any of the different frequencies, it's a weird thing, and you might be like, am I really feeling that? But you are, because you're in
Mm.
tune. Now,
Mhm.
someone that's at home, no offense, but they're just at home sitting on the couch eating potato chips every single day. They don't really know what their body feels like. So if they're not really feeling a lot, like you're not in a space to know. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why when there's people out there that want to support us and everything, I'm like, listen, I'm going to send you this and this and this and this and this and this and this, and just try them all together or individually, whatever, and just let me know what you think. And a lot of times it's like, don't even promote it. I just want to know from you because you can feel it. And I'd rather like hear what you have to say than 10 people that don't lift a weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, I mean,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So yeah, we'll get you out some stuff. Send me out the address. Man, I'll even see if I can send you some of this gold powder so you can try that out.
Yeah. Before I train or something.
Yeah.
That'll be
Yeah.
very
I'm sorry.
interesting.
It's weird. It's a weird, the
Mm.
sun frequency is a weird thing, but it usually gets described like you feel like you have a sun like in you. Like there's just this new, very clean energy source that's very great for creation. But yeah, yeah. Sorry, man. We'll keep going. We'll keep talking. But yeah,
Mm. Yeah.
I'll get you out some stuff. Get you out some stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, look, thank you so much for everything. This is going to be gold dust, literally, for people to hear. Yeah,
Brother,
absolutely.
brother, yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah, I'm
something
excited to
which
see you
I,
out there.
I'm sorry?
I'm excited to see you out there. Like
Yes.
I'm very sure we'll be in London. Very sure.
Yes. Yes. Summertime. I look forward to it. But thank you very much again. And
Oh, thank you, man. This is
yeah,
great. Great,
we'll,
great questions, man. I appreciate it.
oh, God bless. God bless.
Yeah,
We'll
take care,
speak
brother.
soon. You take
Okay.
care. Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.